Hi, this is Greg of Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to review two pieces of terrain from the Precinct 187 Kickstarter by Z1 Design. I was doing some videos for the Warlayer Kickstarter, and it was a preview video, and I received an email from somebody from about 40-50 miles away that he had pledged to the Z1 Design Kickstarter but didn't have his printer yet, and asked if he could commission me to print a building for him. And so I was like, sure, I said, send me a file, I'll quote you a price, and I'll take a look. Well, he sent me the file, and I hadn't seen this Kickstarter before, and I was like, holy cow, this stuff is really nice. And then I printed it out, so I did the donut shop for him, and that thing came out really, really nice. Sent it off to him, and he was really happy with the results, and I think he's going to pick up his own 3D printer now and maybe crank out some of his own stuff. But I was so impressed with the design, I emailed John Steines of Z1 Design and just said, hey, this is really nice stuff. I mean, this went together well, it locked together well, and I'd love to be able to review a couple more pieces on there. So he's been sending me the files, and so what I'm going to do, and continuing on, because from the Warlayer Kickstarter, I got a couple other people that asked if I could put their terrain up on my channel also. So I said, sure. So I'm going to do a review of a few pieces of video, a few 3D printed pieces from the collection, and just cycle through them. So I'll start here with Z1, and then I might do two more videos on two different manufacturers. Then by the time I get cycled back into here, I'll have a couple more buildings to show. And so what I thought that this would be is kind of like, if you've been around since my Start videos, which there's probably only a few of you left, but I used to do a demolding series. And what it was is I used to take the mold, fill it with plaster, and pop out the mold so you could actually see what the pieces looked like on the table versus a picture of the mold or a picture of a drawing or something like that. And so I'm going to use that same thing here. I'm going to work through the entire range as I get the pieces and print them out and put them together and put them up here on the video so you can see. Also, if you were not part of the Kickstarter, down in the show notes will be the information on how you can get these also, and an email address to John, and you can do a late pledge and you can pick up these models also if this is really something you want to do. I figure what this does, it brings a little more exposure to campaigns you might have missed on there, because I completely missed this one, and I won't miss the next one, that's for sure. But it gives you an opportunity just to see some other stuff that's out there, and gives you an opportunity, if you like it, that you can jump in and grab this and put this on your table also. So I figured I'd review each building on there. So I'm going to start with the Firehouse. So let me move Mel's diner over to the side. And so this is the Firehouse Station. So this is 3 levels high and a roof. I did all 4 sides. Well, obviously I did all 4 sides, but I'm showing you all 4 sides, and I'll bring it back to the front here. So each set of files that you get comes with a nice design sheet that has an exploded view of each level, and also which file names go with each piece on here. This is awesome. I mean, this is nice. It's not over bloated with information, but it shows you a picture with the flyout. It gives you the name of the files, and you can count and you can print what you want on here. There's a nice list of how many pieces that you need to print out, at least for these 2 buildings that was on here. That might change going forward on some of the buildings that have more options on them, so you won't have an exact print count like this one does on here. But what this paper does is you're able to work on each level and get it printed out. Now, I should have brought these bags over here. Give me 5 seconds. I'll be right back. Sorry. So what this is each level of the building. So I labeled it Firehouse 3rd floor right here. And so this is that same person that was a couple towns away. He wanted this building also, so that's what it is. It's all packed up in bags by level. And I highly suggest that you kind of separate it like that, because there's an amazing amount of pieces that you're doing for this building right here. I think, each floor has somewhere around 16 pieces that you're going to put together. And these pieces, there is 0 glue in this building except for the little posts that hold the levels together. And so what I did is I made this modular, so I can take the roof off, I can take this level off right here, and these 2 levels I did permanently affix together, but you'll see why. So if I pop it open, take off the roof, then here's the next level right here. And then I left this one together down here. So what this gives, because I can access both layers of the floor, there's really no reason for me to leave this part open, but you're more than welcome to on there. But as for, you know, it's not going anywhere. And he has a fantastic locking system. So if you look right here at these, like this right here, that's the piece that came right out of the front. So this is that archway in the front of the building. And so all the pieces have these tabs on the side right here, and they lock right down into these posts. And so they friction lock down in, then you just give it a push down and boom, it's right back in. So this is nice. So if you want to paint pieces separately, you have the opportunity to paint them and then just friction lock them back together on there. But you know, this is a big chunky piece at the bottom. Up here, we've got our hole. You know, I guess that's where the slide post goes down so the fireman can get down, or whoever's going to come down. The windows up front, they look great. These all glue in, and then they have caps that go on the top. And you got 4 floor pieces on the bottom. And then if you look underneath, you can see how these pieces lock together. So you'll see right here how he's got these little wings that pop off. And let me grab one out of the bag. So, like, here's a representative floor tile, and if you flip it over, you'll see these notches right here. And then here's a post with the columns, and they just lock right in. So this piece would lock here, and then you have clips that can go in here that hold it, you know, towards the middle, depending how big the floor is on there. So, fantastic. I have not had to modify anything. Everything fits together good. It fits tight, which is nice. It's not falling apart or wobbling apart. So it's a great design. He did really, you know, that's why I emailed him. And yes, I did. He is sending me the files. I was not part of this Kickstarter on here, but, you know, I just felt that this stuff needs to be seen. So if you like this and you want this, again, the way to get it will be down in the show notes. So the only pieces I glued on here were these little pegs. I don't know if you can... Yeah, you'll see them sticking up, and what they do is they match up with the reference points on on each level, and you just kind of hover them over, click them together, and if I put it on the right way, so that level's right back in there. And there's plenty of room for figs. So being, you know, for the different type of game systems, you can do a Cthulhu RPG with figures on here. You can do zombies. I mean, this is really, zombies they're in all time periods, so it really doesn't matter. So, but I have some scout snipers from Warhammer 40K, you know, and they all fit in there, and there's plenty of room with the cap of the building on there, so there's no issue with figure height or anything like that. And then the roof the same way. They're just smaller pieces, you know, and I put the tabs on the bottom, and it will click right in also, and then boom, our completed building is back. Plenty of room on the roof, you know, to put figures up on there. This is a 30 mil figure from a War Machine. It's basically one of their zombies that's out of there, so, you know, that fits within scale fine. So there's all kinds of stuff you can use this terrain for, between RPG, miniature games, and especially modern. I used to have some modern 28 mil figures that I use for a tabletop war game, and I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt. I did not hold on to those. You know, I sold those off to trade them for some other stuff. But this is the building. This is the Firehouse right here by Z1 Designs. So check the show notes if you'd like to jump in on that pledge. The next building was Mel's Diner. So this is a pretty quick, I mean, 2 build plates and this building's done. You can do the roof as one build plate, and then you can do the whole bottom piece all as one. And again, it comes, there's a direction sheet, just like this. Gives you a parts breakout right here, and you know, it shows you an exploded view of the diner and the pieces that are representative of what you need to print to put this together. And so just like the Firehouse, The roof comes off. Gives you plenty of room inside. On there, the doors do work, which is nice. Yeah, there's holes right here for you can put the doors on the side. And this is just a great looking building. I mean, it's clean. It's got clean lines going all the way across. This is printed in eSun PLA Plus brown, and I do all my printing on a MakerGear M2. So if you're a subscriber to my channel, you'll see the videos for made on my MakerGear and stuff like that. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe up, because you'll get lots of videos like this, plus some videos of stuff that I make on my MakerGear that's not tied to a specific campaign or something like that. So, and again, I screwed these little nubs in, not screwed them in, I glued them in so I could put it on the top, and then there's a Mills Diner logo right there, and it just snaps down and it's back together. And again, there's plenty of room. So if you look at scale, you know, here's that, you know, again, there's that sniper. Here's some of the zombies, you know, and then inside the building, you know, you could put, again, just throwing out, you know, so here's all your zombies and stuff like that. And so if you stick around after the video, I'll do a time-lapse video of me putting this together. It doesn't take very long. It's probably less than 5 minutes. But I also asked John a couple questions about the Kickstarter and about what he's planning next. So I'll talk about that as you're watching the video go together. Now, something I did try, I'm like, wow, man, this is really nice at 28 mil. I do play Team Yankee, which is a 1980s era Cold War NATO versus Warsaw Pact military game. And I said, you can always use some type of modern terrain for that. So what I did is I took the donut house and I shrunk it down to 15 mil. And so I took the 28 mil scale and I reduced it by 61%. I reduced it to 61% and printed everything out. And it printed well. I mean, it is tight. The fit is tight. You're going to need to tap the bottom of those to get the pegs in, but it's super tight. And if you do the floor pegs at 58%, at least for my printer, everything clicks together perfect again, you know. And so what I did is blatantly took somebody on the Z1 design forums, put gravel on the top of their donut house, you know, to give a texture to it. And I said, oh, I'm still stealing that idea. So boom, I put it on top of here. But this is 15 mil. And so somewhere around here, I've got a tank. There it is. And so this is a T-72 tank from the game that is in 15 mil. And I think Flames of War is kind of a little bit beefier 15 millimeter, maybe not so true scale 15 mil. So I do the 61% just to make the buildings a little bit bigger. And I believe from end to end on this tank, it's 33.9 feet or 31.9 feet. You know, so basically around 32 feet, you know, so that's how big the tank is in relation to the donut house. So it's I think it's a pretty good fit. So I'm going to play around with some more of this, because there's a couple I'd like to do the diner. The diner would be quick to do just to see, but I'm just showing you that while it doesn't come in the directions, you can, the beauty of the 3D printing is you can scale your designs on there, and you may have to tweak a little bit. And like I said, this is tight. This is held together. There's no glue in here, and then it's not coming apart either. You know, so I'm not going to be able to pull this out with super ease, because that friction fit is tight at 15 mil, but it does fit. So I was just showing you an option. This is something I really haven't seen too much of yet. There's the scaling of the designs on there. And like I said, you're just trying to fill your table up with some unique and different terrain. You know, this stuff right here is great. So I encourage you to stick around and watch the time-lapse video. And I read off a couple answers that John had sent me. And I really appreciate you guys watching the video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I've got stuff coming from Terrain for Print, printable scenery, more war layer stuff. And I do have some 3D Hobgoblin stuff in the works also. So I'm excited to get it on the channel and be able to show it to you guys. So thanks for watching, and stick around for the time lapse. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. And what this basically is going to be is just a 5-minute time lapse of the building of Mel's Diner. So basically what I do is I print out the plans and I print each level of the house. And in this case, I separated the floors because they were kind of big in the roof into their own bags. And I just kind of lay them out in accordance with the direction. I know that the sign needs to go up front. So I just put it there, make sure everything's lined up okay. And then I print a bag of clips. And I'm going to say this right now. You think you're going to need X amount of clips, print twice that amount on there, because it seems like I ran out of clips twice between going on to the next building. I had to print more clips. You don't realize really how many that you're going to use. You use 2 to lock the tile together, and then there's 4 down the middle, and then 2 on the other side. So right there, you're looking at 8 just for the roof alone. And so basically I put one side together, and then I did the other side. And so then I thought better, I was going to stick that front tile in on the front. And I was like, okay, well, how am I going to lock the side and the top together on that 4th tile? So I caught myself before I did it. I could have easily pulled it apart if it was a problem. And I just lined up the slots, gave it a nice push. Everything clicks together. No glue required. And I popped Mel's Diner sign right in the top. So fun stuff. It looks good. Went together good. Next, I break open the bag, and I got the floor tiles in there for the floor of the diner. And the front of the diner has a long, flat base on it, so there's no cutout. So what that means, there's no support pole in the middle. When you do the Firehouse, like this one here just has the support poles at the 4 corners. The Firehouse is going to have the 4 corners and the 2 sides and the back. The front doesn't get a post, I think, except for the roof. So again, do the clips, click them in, just like before. And I think at some point during, I'm not sure if this happens or not, but it might have been during the Firehouse that I run out. And I started to record the Firehouse, but I just figured that's too much bloat for the video. I'm trying to maintain the length of the videos, especially on these, so I'm not talking for 40 minutes like I have a tendency to do. I figure if we can keep these, a good 10 to 15 minutes long, people will watch them all the way through. Like I said at the beginning, if you like the way this looks, please email John, get in on that late Kickstarter pledge. He's got a bunch of stuff. He's got 5 or 6 things already released, so you're going to get files immediately. You're not going to have to wait for them to be designed. They're going to show you're going to get a email with a key, and you log in with a secure key, and then you download your files from his site. It's got a fantastic setup. This is really polished from beginning to end. So I sent him an email. I said, what was your motivation for doing the Kickstarter? And he said he wanted New York City terrain for himself. And with anything he does, he's trying to make the best possible quality product that he can. And I'm here to tell you, and this video should be a proof also of just how good this goes together and how easy everything goes together. And I asked him what was the reason for the Kickstarter. It's because we're progressing into building up of Z1 Designs as a full-time business, and a Kickstarter is a great platform for doing just that. He's working on a massive project for Disney right now with his other business, and later this year we'll be full-time with Z1 Design and full-time gaming. Yes, so being able to turn your passion, or a hobby into a job, especially something like this, it's got to be fantastic. And it really, I tell my friend Jonathan over at Corsac all the time, I said, this is where it's at. Designing models like this, selling STL files really is. And these early adopters are just killing it out there between Z1, Warlayer, Printable Scenery, Heroes Horde, Dragonlock. I mean, all these companies, all these individuals and small teams are making good money because people are coming to get this stuff. People want things beyond Thingiverse that are themed, that are well done, and the price is so good. If you go price this terrain out in a store or something like that, I mean, it's so expensive. I mean, it really is. This building here would probably run you $50, and you only got one at that point, and so being able to print multiple copies of this and things like that and paint them up how you want to paint them up is really good. And so, he said he was pleased with the results from the Kickstarter. He said he learned a lot doing the process. And so his next project is going to be Black Hollows, which is going to be the fantasy range. And you better believe I'm going to be in on that campaign because Greg is a fantasy first guy, and I love some fantasy terrain. So He's going to expand the business with cast resin versions of the product. So those without a printer, if you want some resin versions, this may be for you. So, I appreciate you watching the video. And if you're new, please subscribe. And I'm going to do more of this stuff as I go on with the videos. And I'll also do some painting vids, that'll be independent of painting this terrain up. So thanks again, and have a good night.